Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. This is Jeff with Fluent American checking in with another edition of the Schwab Mill. For what we do is we take a listen to your pronunciation. We try to give some suggestions on how you can improve your American English accent. And you can submit your own files. I've posted a link right at the top of the chat box, which you can see. So you'll be able to submit your own files. As you listen to this, I've been playing around with some audio things, so if you guys can let me know if you hear me loud and clear, if there's any issues or things I need to adjust, let me know as well. Now, just want to say some quick hellos. I saw Riddick was in the chat first, so hello to you. Hello also to Douglas. Thanks for checking in. Great to see you back. Shok is here. Also, Mimo is here. By the way, Shok, really quick, I saw your comment in the last stream that we did last night. So hopefully I was able to address your question, but if anything's not clear, be sure to let me know. Okay. What else do we have? Mimo, we said hey. Sabeta, we said hey. Emmanuel, hello. Ooh, we have Tib. Hello to Tib. I don't recognize you. Welcome to the stream. Hope to see you in future ones. Maybe you sent us an audio file. Hopefully you did. And again, if you want to submit it, you can take a look at the top file here. It's great to see you. Be nice to Nib Tib, everyone. Say hello. Thank you for the kind words about the shirt. Gotta represent. You guys are here at the Schwab Mill, so gotta show. Thank you. And Mimo's letting me know I am loud and clear. Great. Always good to hear. Okay. So again, just a couple of things I want to highlight in terms of how the stream works in case you're watching this for the first time. Let me share my screen. We can give you an idea of what we are about to do. Okay, give that a second to load. Here we go. Okay, so as you can see, you're gonna take off one of these. Okay. Yeah, Emmanuel, I was actually gonna note it. I was like, oh no, Emmanuel's didn't go in. Okay, so I will load that up again. Thanks for sending that again. Mimo, of course, happy to answer your question as well. Here is the document, though. So again, at the top of the chat box, I have posted the link where you can submit your own audio files in case this is your first time. All the directions and things are here. You're going to see at the very top. If I move up, you'll see some directions right there. You will go to vocab.com. Once you are at the website, you have the ability to record yourself. Once you record yourself, it's going to give you a link. You can put that link right in here. And that way I will see it. If you're nervous and you don't want other people to know who you are, you can always just leave the name anonymous. You don't have to write anything, okay? But otherwise, we would love to know who you are. Use the link. It would be nice if you could tell me the words that you say. So that way, in case there's any comprehension issues, microphone issues, technical issues, these things do happen. It's the internet. Internet's not perfect, okay? In addition to just pronunciation things in general. And that's it. Then we take a look. We give you some suggestions. So we move on to the next person. Easy peasy. Okay. Some other things too. Again, I always like to point out that I have some students in my classes who say, oh, I watched the stream, but I'm nervous to send a file because everyone sounds so good. Please send files. It's helpful for everybody. We're all here to learn. We're not here to compete. And the issues that you may have with pronunciation, I promise you there are thousands, maybe millions of people with the same exact problem. So by sending your audio file, you're not just helping yourself, you're helping other people too. It's great to have as many examples as we can. So we're not here to judge. We're not here to compare you to other people. We're just here to listen to what you're doing and give some suggestions if we have any. Okay. We are definitely here to help out. I'm trying to get a more natural sound. One last bit of housekeeping before we move on to the files is we have a podcast. Hey, look at that. We have a podcast. It's on Buzzsprout. So if you go to fluentamerican.com, I am putting up audio editions of our Schwab Mill show. So basically, with some minor edits and things like that. Just take off some spaces and things as we do our live stream. But for the most part, it's exactly what you hear in the stream. It's just made into an audio format. So in case you're driving, you don't want to be using your data for video, or you're just like downloading MP3s, or you just enjoy podcasts, this will be an opportunity for you. So definitely take a look again at that link, fluentamerican.buzzsprout.com. I've also posted some links to that as well on the Facebook page and posted on the community tab. Okay. Hopefully that's the main thing that I think I have. All right, so I think if there's anything else that I need to mention. Question, thinking. If you guys have any news or things that you have questions about, be sure to let me know. Riddick mentioned that they love Saturdays. Hey, what's not to love about a Saturday? Especially you get to spend it with people like you guys. All right, I think that's everything I have. So then let's take a moment and kind of just walk through what is about to happen. Oh, let me add myself there, right? Again, it's not little, it's more little.
The G host was class.
Are you feeling that here, or here? But anyways, if you couldn't see it, that's fine too. I have put on my headphones and things like that, so that way I can listen to you guys, and we can play the files and things like that. Mayo's mentioned that there's some interferences going on with the audio today. Interesting. Okay, I'll be keeping tabs on that. If you guys are encountering that as well, be sure to let me know. Okay, but let us take a look at our files. Let me share my screen. I'll make sure I do the right tab. About to show the wrong one. That would have been a problem. Okay, so we already talked about the thing. Emmanuel posted. Douglas has posted. Great. Emmanuel's posted a new link. Okay, we'll probably have to save those for last. Let's finish our first batch of audio files first. Okay, then we'll come back to those. Give me 1 second. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Appreciate those kind of words. Just playing these in random order. Let's take a listen to our first one.
What do we do now?
Okay, play it again.
What do we do now?
Okay, I think my big comment here is going to be related to placement and breath, because this sounds a little bit closed off. Play again.
What do we do now?
Because I'm hearing like, what do we do now? Like, it feels like we're really kind of trapped inside of our mouth area a little bit. Like, what do we do versus what do we do? Your difference between what do and like what do. So I think that's going to be the big thing that we're going to be talking about is placement, trying to get a little bit more breath through because we're just a little bit closed off. Okay, so one thing that we're always talking about again is placement. If you're not familiar with placement, this is all about where we're projecting the sound from. So for instance, are we projecting from like up here, from right here, from right here, or from right here, or even lower? And again, in general, in American English, what you want to do is you want to make sure you're projecting from low in the throat and very open with lots of air coming through. So compare like what versus what. Okay, it's like what. Now, I will say that I have a new 7-day challenge that's going to be coming out this upcoming week. It's going to be a 7-day challenge focused on American English placement. And I know some of you guys are probably tired of placement and things like that, but I think it's such a key concept to achieving a natural sound in American English. So it's going to be 7 days. The setup is I would encourage you to do 1 video a day, but I know some people just want to do all videos in 1 day, and that's fine too. But for 7 days, we're going to cover placement for different aspects. So we're going to talk about placement in general, talk about placement for the schwa sound, talk about placement for the letter L, for the letter N, talk about placement at the sentence level. So this is a new concept for you. Definitely stay tuned for that because I'll be coming out on the channel soon. But just some general things like let's compare like what Let's see how we're doing what again.
What do we do now?
What do, what do,
What do we do?
what do versus what do. So like for instance, let's try just saying like what do and try to send it down a little bit. Okay, so like what do, what do, what do, what do, what do, what do. Can you hear that difference as I'm just kind of sending it down and also opening up my throat more? So I'm starting up like right here and then it's gradually working its way down. Again, what do, what do, what do, what do, what do, what do, what do. Okay, and you can send it lower, you can even send it higher. But just kind of practicing that movement, I think, can be really helpful to get used to feeling what the position is like in different places. Other things that can be helpful with this as well.
What do we do now?
Do we do versus so even just like looking at the oo sound, you know, this oo sound is a vowel that most languages have. So the difference a lot of times isn't necessarily in the mouth position, though I will say that in American English, notice when I'm saying ooh, ooh, look how straight my lips are, right? Let's try to zoom in so you can see that a little bit better. So notice how straight my lips are. Ooh, so like really going this way, not super rounded, right? So it's not ooh, ooh, it's more ooh, ooh. Okay. And that's, you know, you can make an ooh sound with round lips. You know, I can say ooh, ooh, okay, versus ooh, ooh. And notice it does slightly modify the sound, but I'll put it like this. When a lot of students are rounding their lips, what they're also doing is they're shifting the placement forward and tensing things up as well. So that's affecting your sound too. So in general, I think the better piece of advice is to get the lips a little straighter, open the mouth a little bit more, and produce the sound a little bit lower. And then as you get more comfortable with that, then you can always add in some of those other components, like slightly rounder lips. But it's not necessary as long as you're getting that ooh sound. Okay. So instead of what do, more what do. Okay. What it's like, can you reduce what do and what and again, is this tied in also to your flap T question as well? Okay. Yeah, let's I'm gonna hear this again.
What do we do now? What do we do?
What do we do? You know, so another way that you may hear this, so you're kind of asking about like reductions, right? So what are ways you could reduce this? Instead of saying like what do, like what do we do? What do we do? That's if you're trying to reduce that and link it, that's the way I probably would say it. Like what do we do? What do we do now? Because most likely your stress is going to be on now. You know, if you're saying this in a real context, saying this in a real situation, most likely your stress will be on now.
What do we do now?
What do we do now? What do we do? Like, what do we do? See if you can say that really fast, like 3 times, without stressing anything. It's like, what do we do? What do we do? Or maybe like 3 times, everything linked. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And this is a really key component of American English where allowing your vowels to kind of run into each other a little bit, because this is going to give you some of that linking, some of that fluency that's going to help everything kind of smooth out and join together. So instead of what do we do, you know, it's more what do we do? What do we do? You know, I can actually kind of say all of that. What do we do? What do we do? With the tip of my tongue down against the bottom of my mouth the entire time. What do we do? And some of you might be like, but Jeff, it's not even clear what you're saying. Like, there's no consonants. This is like, it's just so broken. But the reality is that because American English is so focused on vowel sounds, you're absolutely right. If you just say like, what do we do? What do we do? If you just say that to someone on the street, they may not understand what you're saying. But if you say, what do we do now? What do we do now? By adding that now, the now is your stressed word. It has that really clear end sound there, and it's forced, the pitch is higher and things like that. That adds enough context where everything else that came before it makes sense. So yeah, if you just have a reduced part without the stressed part, there's a very good chance native speakers will not understand you. But the minute you add in that stress part, you add that key part in, it provides all the context. So suddenly it becomes comprehensible. So again, maybe the native speaker probably wouldn't understand that. But if you say, what do we do now? A native speaker has a much higher chance of understanding that. Okay. So reducing some of those consonant sounds, strengthening some of your strengthening the vowels, that's the key part. Okay, I see Zubaida, I see your comment. I'll be there in a minute. But just because this is relevant. Douglas mentions you guys talking away. It was so relaxing. Yeah, because it's all about breath. It's all about breath. Where so many other languages are focused on the consonant sounds, American English is going heavy on the vowels. Okay, so what is being viewed here as relaxed and lazy, if you speak the other way, where you're strengthening your consonant sounds, what do we do now? Like, to an American English speaker, that sounds very choppy and not very smooth. Okay. So it's kind of like, are you more on the relaxed, quote unquote, lazy side, or are you more on the choppy, almost very disrupted sound with all those consonants? So what side of the spectrum are you on? Strengthen your vowel sounds, weaken everything else. Talked a lot about this. Some other quick things that kind of come up. And Emmanuel, let me know if the audio is coming in a little bit clearer now, because just trying to keep tabs on things.
What do we do now?
Okay. Another thing too with now that I think would be helpful.
What do we do now?
I would even suggest extending the breath like an extra millisecond at the end, or 2 milliseconds. So I said now, more now, now. What do we do now? What do we do now? And see if that helps. Okay, because I think that would also be very helpful. Again, just trying to get a little bit more breath through.
What do we do now?
Okay. All right. I hope that gives you enough context for that specific sentence. If anything there isn't clear, be sure to let me know. But thank you so much for sending that audio file. I do appreciate it. Okay. Cannot do this show without you guys. So it's always great to see you. By the way, if you are watching the stream for the first time, whether on the replay or in the live stream with us right now, can you say hey? Just say hello. I want to know you're here. You don't have to send us a file. It's okay. I just want to know you're here, that you're with me. And even if you've been with us 1,000 times, say hey too. I know Zubeda asked, "Who's an intense challenge after this? Zubeda wants pitch, stress, linking in a week. Interesting. So like one day, one topic. It's kind of just like cover everything. I can certainly think about that. We can see what we can do. I already have all the recordings made for the placement series. I just need to edit them. Okay. Also, let me know on the edits too. So this is going to be, I know sometimes my edits can be kind of crazy, and then sometimes the edits are more relaxed. So typically for the workout videos, I don't have as many graphics going on or as much less movement. Whereas for the other videos that are covering more general topics without going too in depth, those tend to be a little bit faster for people. But let me know your preference on things. Okay. But yeah, I do think that a week of covering just this different topics like that, I think that's a good idea. I like it. Thanks for sharing your good ideas. I'm taking notes. Always taking notes. I also need to take a quick water break, but in the meantime, like what you're hearing, let us know by liking and subscribing. All right, let us see who is next.
There's so many things I want to learn.
So many things I want to learn. Here is our sentence. Okay. So that sentence we're going to be taking a look at, but let's hear that again. I think it's this one.
There's so many things I want to learn.
There's so many things I want to learn. Okay. I think the general way that you did that, so you're putting a stress on so, which I, in general, would recommend. So is one of those words that, in general, does receive stress. Okay, a lot of your adverbs, if you see them, do get stressed a lot. So I like that aspect of this already.
There's so many things I want to learn.
I also see what you're doing with pitches. So you're trying to keep things relatively low. So you have your stress on so, and then after that, you're going down, 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 down. So many things I want to learn. So many things I want to learn. So, like, I like that.
There's so many things I want to learn.
I think we do have some opportunities where, let me see again.
There's so many things I want to learn.
There's so many things. I think there's one place where we could have linked just a little bit more.
Many things I want to learn. There's so many things I want to learn.
So many things I want to learn. So many things.
So many things I want to learn.
This is very, very minor, being very nitpicky. You could have linked a little bit more things I There's so many things so many things so many things because right now it almost feels like there's a break. So many things I want to learn versus so many things I want to learn.
So many things I want to learn.
Okay. Which also kind of talks about some other opportunities for linking as well. With the
Things I want to learn.
want to learn, I want to learn. There's nothing wrong with saying want to. I would go to youglish.com. If you're not familiar with Youglish, let's take a quick look at it because I think it's a pretty helpful site. I would go to, so again, youglish.com. I would go here and I would type in I want to and just listen to how people say it. Because you will occasionally hear people saying I want to. You will hear that. But I am very much willing to bet, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm very willing to bet that instead of hearing I want to, you're going to hear like I want to. So many things I want to learn. There's so many things I want to learn. Like so many things I want to learn. Okay. And to make the bet a little bit more even, TED Talks do not count. TED Talks are artificial. They are presentations. It's public speaking. Public speaking is it's different. You're enunciating and things like that. You know, it's not conversational. So TED Talks don't count. I have a whole video about TED Talks. TED Talks I think are fun. I think they're great, but from a language learning perspective, they can also be a little harmful.
There's so many things I want to learn.
Okay, so I would link again like things and then want to learn. Okay, because I think that's going to give you a slightly more natural sound. It's going to link things together a little bit more. Other things. Mano asks, can we stress things? There's so many things I want to learn. There's so many things I want to learn. Okay. There's so many things I want to learn. There's so many things. I think that works. Okay. But I think that could be a possibility. So many things I want to learn. I think if you stress so, I think it's one of those cases where they both work. I think if you stress so, it adds more. It makes it sound a little bit more exaggerated. Adds a little bit more emotion. Whereas if you put it on things, a little bit more general, I would say. Okay. I know a couple comments came in before we continue with this. I just want to address. Douglas, let me get to your comment right after this. So Beta, thank you so much for the kind words there. I totally understand about the time. Also, thanks to Tib for the kind words about the channel. That's cool. We're trying to do things fresh. You know, we're trying to do things that, you know, I notice a lot of other channels aren't. There's so many American English pronunciation channels, but not many of them are actually looking at people's specific audio, which is like you want to hear yourself and improve yourself, you know. I mean, you don't just want to listen to teachers. So I appreciate that. We talked about things. I mean, notice that public speaking comes out. That is true. I will admit that when you're using Youglish, a lot of the examples you hear are going to be from presentations and things like that. So you do have to do lots of digging. You know, it also depends on your phrase you're using. I find Youglish works best for extremely short phrases. The longer your phrase, the more likely it's going to probably appear in like again a public speaking thing. So I think like 2 to 3 word phrases max I think work best. So many things I want to learn. Douglas mentions he finds it that easier to pronounce it that way. I would agree. Opens up your vowels. You know, American English, call it lazy, call it whatever you want, call it smooth, but the goal is to pronounce things as easy as possible. Excuse me, as easy as possible. Every language is doing that. Every language has its own forms of shortcuts. Okay. Other things coming through on this.
There's so many things I want to learn.
There's
so many things I want to learn.
So many things. I would also say, I think this sounds a bit flat, and I know that sounds kind of contradictory to what I said earlier, because earlier I mentioned that I can hear the movement in pitches. You know, you do have a clear high point in so, and you do have a clear low point in learn. Okay, I completely agree with that, but the issue I find is, can we expand it even more?
There's so many things I want to learn.
There's so many things I want to learn. Like you're getting movement, but it's your range is still kind of like in this area. What if we expanded it to like this much? Like, there's so many things I want to learn. There's so many things I want to learn. So can you take your so even higher, and can you take your learn even lower, just to add a little bit more contrast, going to add a little bit more emotion, make it sound a little bit less monotone. Okay, so those would be my big recommendations there in terms of linking and also pitches. Hopefully that makes sense. If anything there isn't clear, let me know. But thank you for sending that audio. I do appreciate it. Let's get back to a couple of quick comments. Again, I know that Douglas made a question here. Tib also notes, though, that with regards to English and reductions in linking, it's not laziness, it's efficiency. It's efficient. And I agree. Every language, again, has its own forms of shortcuts. A lot of native speakers are like the worst people to ask about their language. You ever notice that? Like, you ask a native speaker, like, why do you guys do this? Or how does this work? And most native speakers are just like, I don't know, that's just the way we do it. And that's not just true for English, that's true for like every language. I'm guessing that's also true for many of you guys with your first languages as well. If you're watching this, do you know really how your language works or why you do things certain ways? And a lot of times the answer is no. Don't really understand it. Other questions. I could go with them, but I wanted. Do you want to say wanted? Because I could with them. I don't want to. I could go with them, but I don't want to. I think you could do either. So the question again is, in a sentence, I could go with them, but I don't want to. Or the question, or I could go with them, but I don't wanna. Which one is more common, want to or wanna? I think you'll hear both. Just because want to is at the end, doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna be separated into want to. You could still You could still use wanna. I could go with them, but I don't wanna. I could go with them, but I don't want to. It's just physically harder to say want to. This is just from an effort point of view, it is harder to say want to than wanna. Okay, I don't want to. I don't wanna. Okay, so again, I think you're going to be much more likely to hear wanna, but I think want to is also an option. I like that question. It's a good one. I personally would probably still say wanna. Ask other native speakers, see what they say. Alrighty, who next? Dum dum dum. Ooh, 12-second file. I might hold this up for the end of our first group. Let's try this one instead. 3 seconds.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
Marco's going heavy with the expressions. Gonna post this. It's always darkest before the dawn. Someone's been watching The Dark Knight.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
Okay. There are just some minor notes. This isn't an issue of right or wrong. This is just a note about some regionalism things. So, for instance, I personally would say dawn, but that's not what we're hearing here. We're hearing
The dawn.
dawn. Ah sounds a little bit more ah than an ah. Okay. Now, this is entirely dependent on the region of the U.S. where you're paying attention to people from. So again, I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Philadelphia. We separate the ah sound and the ah sound. So I would say dawn, as opposed to don. Okay. So I'd use a little bit more ah sound than an ah. Okay, just a note. Okay. But again, there are many people that would pronounce it as an ah sound, or getting more into that. Okay. So just kind of something to pay attention to. Again, nothing wrong there. It's just depends on what sort of accent are you focusing on.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
It's always darkest before. So you're stressing darkest and dawn, which are reasonable choices.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
Mm-hmm. So yes, where is he from? Oh, where is he from? I forget. Marcos, I'm sorry, I forget what country. Salvador. I forget. He speaks Spanish.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
It's always darkest before the dawn. So what I would say here.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
We already talked about dawn. Darkest is fine as a stress. Another option that you could do is you could also put the stress on always. Like it's always darkest before the dawn. It's always darkest before the dawn. Um, Another option too would be removing the stress on dawn. Notice the way I just said it. It's always darkest before the dawn. Okay. That's one option. You could also do it this way too. I think this is a common way of hearing it pronounced as well. It's always darkest before the dawn. You could have raised the pitch a little higher on dawn if you wanted. Again, these aren't really critiques. These are more just suggestions or alternative. Not even really suggestions. Just alternatives. I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with anything you did here. Is there any pronunciation thing that's really coming up?
It's always start.
It's always, always. So maybe on always.
It's always start.
It does sound to me like when you're saying always on the second syllable, it does sound to me like your placement's rising a bit. Always, always versus always, always. So I do think we get a little lower and a little bit more open on our A sound. I do think that is a possibility.
It's always darkest.
So I guess always, more always, always.
Darkest before the dawn.
I want to hear before.
It's always darkest before the
Before
dawn.
before the it's a little tricky here because before is so fast because it's not stressed. It's pretty reduced. But I would be curious to hear you say more of that or sound or. Can say that with me really quick, like or. If you find that you say or, or, those are signs that your placement's high, that perhaps your jaw is a little bit tense, your throat's a little bit closed off. Again, the goal is not or, it's more or. Okay, so I would say maybe a little bit. I think you're able to hide it a bit here because it's reduced, but I would continue practicing a little bit of that or sound.
Darkest before the dawn.
Because you get this kind of moment where it kind of catches before the versus before the
Darkest before the dawn.
dawn. And this is also something that we mentioned in the past a little bit too.
Before the dawn.
Dawn versus dawn. I do think there's a very minimal amount of vowel shifting going on before your N.
Before the dawn.
Dawn. Do you hear that? On. I'm exaggerating a bit. I don't think you're doing it quite that heavy. But this is something that the letter N is doing for a lot of people. It's causing people to kind of shift their vowel sounds. Okay, so their vowels actually being modified. It's like on. When in reality, in American English, you'll usually just go right from your vowel to the N. It's like on. So it's not on. It's on. Okay, so dawn. So that's something I would say just kind of like watch out a little bit for when you're speaking. Watch out for those words with N sounds. Okay? Any last things?
It's always darkest before the dawn.
I want to hear darkest.
It's always darkest.
Darkest. Yeah, I don't know. There may be a thing there where you might want to reduce the ist sounds. Again, darkest. Usually, again, like a short I, like you see in sick or give. Ist, darkest. Okay, so it's just something a little bit to pay attention to, but I don't think it's a major thing here. All right, Marcos, thank you so much for sending that audio file. Hope this is helpful. If you have any questions before me, be sure to let me know. But thanks for sending that. Appreciate it. Oh, Douglas sent me a question, but I forgot to address it. I also see Riddick sent a question too. I'll be there in a moment. Douglas asks, how can we say the R as uncharted? And then color the vowel quickly. So the R in uncharted. Charted. Okay. So let's just let's take the word uncharted. Let's take off the UNCH part. Let's just get the arted part. Because I think this is the situation where you have that R sound, and you have that fast D sound, and you have the id. So I think all of these are kind of connected to each other. So we want to make sure we're pronouncing all of them. So arted. So some things here. The first question I would ask you is when you're saying R, where's the tip of your tongue? Is the tip of your tongue making contact with the top of your mouth? or is the tip of your tongue down against the bottom of your mouth? Okay, are you saying R or are you saying R? Either can be correct. There's no wrong answer here. What I will say is that by having the tip of your tongue lower, R, R, I think that can make things a little bit easier in terms of trying to keep things open and trying to get the air flowing through. Because I think you have a tendency, if you curl up the tip of your tongue, to kind of tense things, close things off, and make things at least not as smoothly, like charted, things like that's the fear, is that it becomes uncharted, where you get these really harsh, strong consonant sounds. Charted, not the sound we're going for. We're going for charted, or arted, where I'm again keeping the tip of my tongue low against the bottom of my mouth. As Emmanuel notes, it's our famous RT combination. I would add RT vowel combination, right? Because this is a tricky thing. So once you kind of see where your R is being pronounced, okay, see then if you can say R like 3 times at the tip of your tongue low. So like R, R, R. Can you do that? R, R, R. And catch yourself. If you're doing like R, 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 that's the sign you're really closed off. If you find you're doing like R, 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 that's a sign that you're low, but you're closing off your throat. So there's not a lot of breath coming through. So kind of figure out what's going on with your R sound. Okay. Then, as you get more comfortable saying R, 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 see if you can do that again, but do it faster and link all the sounds together. So instead of R, 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 where there's like a pause in between, can you do R, R, R? So again, instead of R, 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 go R, 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 R. R, 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 R. You kind of just keep going like a yuppie angry dog. And so that would definitely be the exercise I would practice a little bit to try to get the R sounding smoother, the breath. Once you get more comfortable with that, then we can start adding in the other things like the fast D sound. So like R, arted, R, arted. Okay. And you can then do that same sort of exercise. R, arted, R, arted, R, arted, R, arted. And then see if you can say arted 3 times and smooth it. Okay, so let the vowels keep flowing. It's like arted, 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 arted. And then you can say uncharted. So just find out if you're finding that to be difficult or if you're finding that to be smoother. Okay. This is a question Emmanuel notes. This is the last question in Q&A. Yes, there is way more information about this in the last stream. This is also something that's going to be coming up in our placement series coming up soon. Okay. Riddick, I do see your question. I will be responding to it soon. Douglas mentions that it's tricky to pronounce R and that fast D sounds like arted. Okay, so I would just practice if I were you then. So you've identified the part that's difficult, which is good. We want to know what is the part we're struggling with. I would practice saying, I would even do the whole word. I wouldn't do uncharted. I would just focus on arte. Don't even do the D sound. I would do art and then that short I sound. And then I would keep repeating that. Arte, 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 arte. Arte, 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 arte. And keeping, again, see if you can do that with the tip of your tongue low the entire time, because I think that'll help keep things smoother. If you find that it's still tricky, one thing you can also try doing is open your mouth a little wider, just to try it again. It's an attempt to get more air through the throat. It's like, arte, 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 arte. Can you try doing that? Arte, arte, arte. And again, I'm trying to keep the placement low. Okay? And this is tricky. I think part of the difficulty is, and again, I mentioned this yesterday, is that I think a lot of people see letters and unconsciously or subconsciously, it's better, it's not unconsciously, you're not being knocked unconscious by English, I hope. But subconsciously, your mind sees the letters and it has these associations like, okay, I see the letter, this letter makes this sound, let me produce that sound. When in reality, I instead of focusing on that, I would challenge you to be like, okay, focus more on the sound itself. Don't even think about the spelling. Just kind of close your eyes. Listen to this. And try to copy that as best you can. Try to imitate it. Don't worry about the spelling. Just focus on the sound. Be like, how can I get this sound? Arte. If you find you're doing arte, well, that's a sign again that your placement's really high and your throat's very closed off. Okay. So try moving your placement around, doing like arde, 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 arde. So just move it around. Just get used to doing different placements. As you think you get closer to that lower placement, then you can expand with tight throat positions, open throat positions, like arde, 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 arde. It's like expand, play around, make mistakes. Don't necessarily go for the perfect sound. Just go for trying different sounds. I think that's really key. Lots more experimentation. The reality is, look, when a lot of people are studying pronunciation and they're getting to a sound that they find to be difficult, they're making changes that are like this big, when in reality, they need to be making changes that are like this big or like this big. Can't even see it in the frame. It's so big, right? So a lot of people just aren't doing enough in terms of making changes because they're sticking with a system that feels too comfortable. I always tell my students, a pronunciation class should feel a little bit uncomfortable because if it doesn't, that just means you're doing the same thing you've always done, right? So those would definitely be my considerations there. Okay. Tib asked, I love Tib being so active. This is great. Tib, come to more streams. This is great. Is it okay to pronounce the T sound or should it be pronounced as a D? So like so in the word like uncharted, let's use this as another example. If you pronounce this with a T sound and you say uncharted, that is going to immediately give you a much more British-based sound, which if that's what you're going for, cool. But most likely if you're watching this stream, that is not what you're going for. You're trying to get more of that American English sound. So that means that, hey, we got to use more of those fast D sounds. I will be honest with you. In American English, the only place where you really get those kind of like true T sounds, those t sounds, is when T's start a word. Okay. Or if they're the stressed part of a word. Those are pretty much the only situations. Where like, for instance, like tooth, or like take. Those T's are starting the words, so we pronounce them a little bit more aspirated. Okay. Other T's are usually either going to do that fast D sound, like charted, or they're going to go silent, like in a word like center or international, or they're going to be held, like for instance, like in apartment. Notice that both of those T's in apartment very often get held. Apartment, apartment. Yeah, very rare where the T outside of the first letter gets pronounced, in all honesty. Okay, I think that's covered a lot of that. Intonation. Intonation. Yeah, it's rare to hear that pronounced as like intonation. Usually it's intonation. Intertwined. Intonation, I don't know why the T is pronounced there, because the A is your stress. Okay. Hotel is a word where the T is stressed. Hotel. Okay. So again, when the T starts a stressed syllable, oftentimes it is maintained. Okay. Intertwined. The first T is usually silent. Great to see you again. Just go big go home. Was with us last night. He's back again. And then twined, because again, it's your stress syllable, that T will get pronounced. Riddick mentions, always feel a problem trying to say idea. Similar idea is similar. Well, yeah, similar idea, similar concept, right? Fast D sound. Can you say idea? Idea. Can you say idea with the tip of your tongue against the bottom of your mouth? Idea. Idea. Idea, idea, idea. Can you say that 3 times? Idea, idea, idea. Okay. No contact with the top of my mouth. Yeah, you're getting a more muffled sound. You are. Idea. Okay. You can then, as you get used to that though, then you can very lightly make contact. But I would say for practice saying it with the tip of your tongue extra down. Idea, 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 idea. Then as you get more comfortable with that, you can raise it slightly. Idea, 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 idea. The goal, again, is to just pronounce it super fast with very minimal contact. Okay. If you guys have other questions about T sounds, let me know. If you're learning something, let me know. Be like, yes, I am learning American English. You can also let me know by liking the stream. Quick water break, guys. Like what you're hearing? Let us know by liking and subscribing. Stay hydrated, folks. It's still the summer. It is still this summer. Okay, I've got 2 of our original files. Oh, that one's even longer. 49 seconds and 12 seconds. Oh my gosh. People sending me their audiobooks. Okay. Thanks a lot to Mr. Go Big Go Home for the super sticker. I appreciate that. We're always taking donations of things. I appreciate that. Very kind. Oh, yes, you did ask. Sorry, Riddick. So many questions coming. So question about what is sarcasm? Sarcasm is very common in American English, also in British English too, where basically you say something that kind of means the opposite of what you're saying to a degree, where you're often like joking or teasing. A lot of people don't necessarily like sarcasm because it can be a little bit mean. To give you an example of sarcasm, let's say you're playing a game with someone and they are horrible. They're really, really, really bad. So then when the game is over, you go over to them and say, hey, oh yeah, you played great. Well, that's very sarcastic because everyone knows they played bad. You know they played bad. Everything. So yeah, that would be very sarcastic. Or for instance, let's say my wife and I are gonna have a party, and there's someone I really hate because I hate so many people, right? But let's imagine there's someone I really, really hate, and my wife knows it. So then my wife might ask me, "Hey Jeff, do you want to invite them?" And I'll be like, "Oh yeah, of course. How could we not?" You know, that would again be very sarcastic because I don't like them. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times sarcasm uses rising intonation a lot. I actually have a video. If you go to my channel, let's take a field trip, guys. Let's go to my channel. Field trip. I do have content related to that actually. It's an ice cream. I cannot actually see, so I can see that I get the sticker, but in the program I'm using, I can't actually see what the sticker is. So thank you for telling me that it's an ice cream. I appreciate that. Anyways, if you go to my channel and you can see our live stream, so you guys are here. Look at us all there. And if you type in, I'm just going to type in sarcasm. Oh no! It's not coming up. It's an old video. Here it is. I type it. Why did it not pick up sarcasm? But it picked up sarcasm. It's the same spelling. That's not helpful. Anyways, if you have questions about sarcasm, take a look at this video. How to use sarcasm in English. Will give you some tips. Old video, but a goodie. You have more questions about sarcasm? Okay. Shok is in the house. Great to see you once again. Okay. Appreciate that. Shok saying they're learning. What about the rest of you? Come on. Don't be shy. Appreciate the kind words about the workout videos too. You know, the workout videos, they're very interesting for me because from a production standpoint, in all actuality, those are much easier videos to make because the goal is just to give you exercises to practice, right? So they're very practical. The editing is relatively minimal because that's not the goal. The goal is just to give you sentences to practice with. The only thing is that they're longer. But from an editing standpoint, they're much easier to make. You know, I don't have to be crawling around on the floor. I don't need to be going to my basement. You guys know I'm scared of basements. I don't need to be making props, putting on face paint or anything. Like from a production standpoint, much easier. But you know, I also respect that. Hey, I mean, from a learning perspective, sometimes it's nice just to have something just to repeat. Get lots of models in. So I appreciate your kind words on mentioning the workout videos. Thank you so much for saying that. Okay. What is this one we heard?
America. Sing. No. Act.
Okay. Thanks from you. Cool. So they were just sending us their kind of pronunciation practice for today. Okay. By the way, guys, if you know other people who are studying pronunciation, be sure to let them know we do this. I love hearing from you, but I would love to hear from your friends too. It's also just a much more enjoyable experience when you are learning with other people. You know what I mean? Like if you have friends that are also doing American English. Okay, so this is your schwa sound, right?
uh,
Uh, uh. It sounds to me like as you're doing your schwa sound at the end, it sounds to me like your placement is actually rising. Let me show you what I mean.
uh,
Uh, uh. I would have much preferred it to stay at one spot. Uh, uh. Get rid of that second half. Get rid of those last like 2 or 3 milliseconds. Just uh, So instead of just uh, uh.
uh,
Do that k versus just k k.
uh, America.
America. The other issue, this is another thing too, when you're studying pronunciation of individual words, what often happens is, okay, so you're studying a word and you find out that, oh my gosh, there's this one part of this word that I keep mispronouncing. That's a problem, right? So you spend a lot of time kind of focused on that part and you get it sounding good. But the issue is now you have made it the stressed part of your word. You've completely changed the word. So like for instance here we're getting like America. But again, it's not pronounced as America. It's pronounced as America. America. So this is really key when you're studying pronunciation of a word that you're finding difficult. Make sure you're always pronouncing it with the right syllable stress and you're not changing it. Okay. You don't overemphasize the part that you're focusing on. That sounds a little bit contradictory, but it's going to completely change your sound if you do that. So again, it's not America, it's America. So something that maybe would have been helpful for reviewing this word is maybe taking like the last 3 syllables, like America, America. So that way you're maintaining the original stress. So if you have a multi-syllable word and the part you're studying is not the stressed part, do the part you're studying, but tie it in with the stressed part so that way you never lose it. It's like America, America, America. Another note too is that for America, you have 2 schwa sounds, right? So you have the first one, and then you have the last one, America. In fact, that might be an even better way of studying that word. Is just do the 2 schwa sounds, and then do the full word, America, America, America. Another exercise you can do too is if you're studying a word or a short sentence, take away all of the consonants. Just keep the vowel sounds. It's like America. It's like era, era, era. And then as you get comfortable with just the vowel sounds, then you can add the consonants back and then switch between them. It's like era, America, era, America, era, America. Because again, as I've always stated, American English is so focused on the vowel sounds. So this helps to ensure that you're keeping the vowel sounds to focus, not letting the consonant sounds take center stage. Okay. So that'd be my recommendations for that one. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. And Emmanuel notes, we learn country name. Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Country names give issues to so many people. Country names, languages, even like honestly, one of the most mispronounced words that I hear is probably the word English, because a lot of people are saying English, like English, and like things like that when it's English. English. It's short I, English, English. And the other issue too is that people are making the consonant sound so strong, right? English. It's like that and the li becomes so strong. When in reality, again, you want the vowels to be the part. It's like English, 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 English. That NGL sound is actually super weak. But yeah, also country names. So country names ending on an sound. That's a very common ending. Another ending that people struggle with too is the O sound. Like for instance, Mexico. Whatever. Indigo. That's not good. Morocco. Countries like that, or like city names like Cairo. You know, so those O sounds often get reduced when in reality you still want to maintain the O sound. Yeah. Somebody mentioned they never learned to say English. Yeah, a lot of people haven't. Riddick mentions it's hard to pronounce individual words. Yeah, and that's why it's worth reviewing them. You know, don't get me wrong. I think practicing on sentence level is important too, but I think sometimes people hide issues that they have um, in sentences. It's kind of easy to hide some pronunciation mistakes in sentences. When you have an individual word, you're exposed. The cover is off. You can't hide anything because there's no room to, right? So those are some things to kind of focus on. Okay. Tib asks this. Let me come back to this question. So Tib is asking, how many vowel sounds are there in American accents? And yes, I will show you in a moment. Okay, just hang on tight because there's some more things I want to talk about for this recording. How many? I'll give you the honest answer in terms of vowel sounds. It depends on who you ask. If you talk to some linguists, you know, they'll say like, oh, there's like 20 or whatever. If you talk to other linguists, they'll say there's more. If you talk to other ones, they'll say there's less. I honestly don't have a straight number. Some vowel sounds are obviously more frequent than others. So I do have videos that cover the most frequent vowel sounds, which I will show you in a moment. But going back to this, so we just did one word. So America. Let's look at the next word.
America. Sin. No.
You did America like 20 times, but seeing only gets one?
America. Sin.
I would have liked to have heard that more. Your E sound is very tense. Okay, we're going to see E. My problem is I don't know if it's because of your E sound or if it's because of your N sound. So for instance, make sure when you're saying E, you keep your things low and open. E, E. Something that can be helpful is going from a schwa sound to that E sound. It's like E, E, E. Make sure your placement's staying in the same spot. Okay. If you feel like you're making E okay, great. Then your next challenge is to try to add the N sound to that and make sure that it's staying the same. So like E, 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 E. Make sure that those vowels are sounding the same. Make sure that you are not doing like E, E, because a lot of people are doing that. E, E versus E, E. See if you can hear a difference between those. It's a minor thing, but on a sentence level, it becomes very noticeable. This is how people start detecting accents or start calling you out and being like, hey, you're not from here, are you? For these little things. Make sure when you're saying the letter N, I've talked about this in so many videos, but for that letter N, make sure you're doing like a N, not a N, where you're really tense and high. Okay. Emmanuel noting there are only 7 in Romania. Yeah, your Romance languages tend to not have that many vowel sounds. Italian's right around there. Yeah, American English has a lot. That's why a lot of people pronunciation-wise have a hard time coming into American English for this reason. American English has more vowels than a lot of other people's first languages do. Not always the case, but for a lot of languages, that's true. And then again, the emphasis. A lot of other languages focusing on consonant sounds as opposed to vowels. And that's a pretty big shift. I need some water really quick. Like what you're hearing. Let us know by liking and subscribing. I'm running low, guys. Not a good sign. I will survive, though. I think. Okay, let's talk a little bit about seen. Our next word here is new. And before I even listen to this, because I need to hear it again because I don't remember it, honestly. The British English way of doing this is more like new, versus no. Okay, so let's see which one are we going to get. More British or more American?
Sin. No.
More American. Okay. I will say that your ooh sound is a little bit closed off, like ooh versus hear a difference between ooh and So again, pay attention to my lips. I think we talked about this a little earlier, but oh, I forgot to write timestamps. I always forget to write timestamps. Got that to remind me at the beginning of the stream. Jeff, write timestamps. Anyways, for the oo sound again, watch my lips. Oh, oh. Again, not really rounded. If you're finding that difficult, you can open your mouth a little wider. Oh, oh. Okay. I would not recommend right now doing like ooh, ooh, because I think it's going to tighten things up and keep it too close. Okay. Honestly. So again, no, no. Let's listen to the original again.
Sing. No.
No versus no.
Act.
Oh, wow. Very forceful on that. Act. Act. Okay, versus act. Act. So again, I'll keep that a little lower, a little more open. Act. Act.
Act.
It sounds like we're kind of stuck here. Versus So again, I want you to go a little bit lower, and I want more breath to come through. I think those are going to be really helpful things. Again, it's not act. It's more act. It sounds like this is like your last breath or something. Like you're about to leave this world.
Act.
Act versus act. Okay. But those are just some recommendations there. Thank you so much for sending that file. I do appreciate it. This is one last one of our original files. I know some people have sent us some additional ones. Apparently, I have sent in some pronunciation files while I've been on the stream with you guys. So that's going to be exciting to hear, because I have no idea what I just did. I'm excited to see what those are. Some quick little things. Let me find where I need to go. Dum. I mentioned there are only 5 vowel sounds in Indian English accents. It's hard with Indian English too, because I've been through so many different variations. But you know, whether it's Bengali or Urdu or Hindi or Tamil, one thing I think is very common among different Indian language groups is that the consonant sounds are so dominant. The consonants are just completely taking over words, so you end up with a feel that's very choppy. Okay, so it's like da 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 versus da 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 da. You know, so you just practicing linking vowel sounds can have a huge impact on rhythm. Mr. Go Big Go Home asks, fluent American. Yes, sir. How do you pronounce? I don't know. Ooh. I don't know. That's how I would say it. Ooh. I hope that's helpful. They wrote the letters ooh, U, W, U. That's the only spot. Can you tell us about the sound in cat and man? Are they different? Yes. All right, I think. What stream is complete with if it doesn't have a discussion about the sound with the Lincoln with the nasal? Talk about this every stream because it's such a key sound. It could be him, Emmanuel. Those sounds by me with Jeff might just be our singer friend, but we will find out. Anyways, going back again. So cat versus man. If you look these up, you know, in terms of like the IPA, you will find that the same symbol is used for both. Both of these are the sound, which is great, but also a little bit misleading, because one thing we talk about a lot is when we have an sound, that the famous before an N or an M or an NG, an sound plus your nasal, is that when you have this sound before an N, the sound will be a little different. So your sound in cat is especially low and relaxed and open. Cat. Middle of your tongue's a little high. The back of your tongue is down. In front of your tongue is down. Cat. What you're going to find with that sound linking with a nasal is that your tongue is actually going to slide back a little bit more, and you're going to feel things be slightly tenser. Don't make them too tense. You know, you're going to that's way too tense, and that's way too high. But it's going to be more So instead of it's a little more okay. Then, as you get comfortable with that, you want to do a heavy breath out of your nose right before the end sound. So it's like And the key things with this, again, just because you're doing that N sound, don't change your placement. Your placement always needs to be low in your throat, and you always need lots of air to move through your throat. People are closing things off and tensing, so they're getting a lot of like, man, like man. But the real sound is going to be more man. You find that tricky? Take off the M. Just focus on saying the name like the woman's name, Anne, or for instance, like the article again, Anne. Try saying that 3 times, like Anne. Okay. Something else that can be helpful too is that keeping the tip of your tongue down against the bottom of your mouth on those ends. Okay. It's like Anne. So again, that's what the tip of my tongue down against the bottom. Anne. Okay. It's a tricky combination. In my opinion, it's probably one of the hardest sounds pronunciation wise in English, in my opinion. Okay, it's the one I see students struggling with the most. But it's certainly worth studying. There's not a lot of words that have the and combination. However, they are super high frequency. You know, man is a super common word. Plan, than, band, can. You know, these are all words that have it. Super high frequency words. Okay. Some other questions that have come in. How do you pronounce the word Kahoot? Like that. Kahoot. This is again your oo sound. So again, not hoot, or hoot. Kahoot. You find that tricky, again, open your mouth a little wider. Kahoot. Okay. If you find that tricky, just do the vowel sounds, like schwa sound, followed by oo, Kahoot. Okay. Let's see, why do I feel phlegm in my throat? Try to go deep. Sounds to me like you're tensing your throat too much. Okay. Not enough air is making it through your throat. Okay. So I would really say it sounds to me a little bit too closed off. Okay. Because if I do like this, oh my gosh, I just killed my. Oh my gosh.
Let us know by liking and subscribing.
Kill myself. I do it for you guys. I will sacrifice myself for you. I think you're going deep, but you're probably closing off your throat. It's hard without hearing it directly. You know, just based on what you're telling me. Be easier hearing in a pronunciation file or in a class. But that's just some gut reactions. Yes, Mr. Go Big or Home, not Kahoot. Kahoot. Most likely that last T will be held. So I want to release the breath. Douglas asks, what's the difference between man and men? Very commonly confused sounds, but they are different vowel sounds. So this is great. If you're finding that this is a tricky combination, then this is a sign of something you need to study this week. Okay, this is a sign that you need to study your A sound, and you need to study your S sound. A lot of people don't know what they need to study. They know they need to improve pronunciation, but they don't know how. You know what you need to target. This week, study A sounds and study S sounds. Just study that, okay? But yes, there are different sounds. The A sound, A. Again, mouth wide, middle of your tongue high, front of your tongue down, back of your tongue down, more ah. Your second sound is the sound. In many ways, it's the opposite. Your mouth is more closed. Your lips are straight. The back, the middle, the front of your tongue are all higher. You're letting air through your throat, but you're blocking it in your mouth. So instead of ah, you're getting like men. So again, man, men, man. Men. If you're finding that difficult, you really need to study those minimal pairs. I'm excited for you because you know what you need to target. You may ask, do we have time for all the audios? I'm going to do my best. I hope so. I do have I will try. Let me get through these questions really quick, then we'll move on. Binge on the last videos. Yes, I have a playlist. This is like feedback and corrections that I just dumped the live streams in there. Okay. Also, again, the podcast. I have to promote the new podcast. Is going to be old live streams and things like that too. So if you're looking for an audio format, that may be helpful as well. And Manish. I'm not sure where the stress falls. Thank you for watching from India. What time is it there? I guess it's sometime late. But it's great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Please stop by future streams. Send us audio files. Speaking of which, someone sent us a book.
I can't publish a story based on hearsay. La vita senza amore dimmi che tu è, o dove sei andata, o mi sei mancata. Mi perdo dentro il taxi che mi porterà da te. Bello stare a casa, musica italiana. e ci vuole ancora un po'. Prendete il mio letto, lasciami un posetto. Se non vuoi, non me ne andrò. La vita senza amore non mi fare me bene perché.
It does sound like Italian to me. It does sound Italian. I do not feel qualified to give pronunciation advice for Italian. Definitely not my first language. I do think if you are studying Italian, there would be a couple of things I would take a look at. But let's look at the first part. Thank you for sending that. That was very pleasant. Wasn't that nice? Sounded for Eurovision. Who won Eurovision this year? Does anyone know? Is Eurovision done? I don't do Eurovision, but my wife is a big Eurovision fan. Anyway, so this is the first part.
I can't publish a story based on hearsay.
Okay. Some things here.
I can't
I like your can't sound. Speaking of that and sound, right, that we mentioned earlier. Okay. I like that. I also like that you replace cannot with can't. More common way of pronouncing it.
I can't publish a story.
Watch out for publish with that first syllable. Okay. Douglas, I do think this is definitely Italian. Dove sei andata? Non mi sei mancata, mi perdo dentro al taxi che mi porterà da te. Bello stare a casa, musica italiana. Ecco, musica italiana, guarda. Ci vuole ancora un po'. È tutto italiano, dai. Anyways, watch out for publish, because you want more of that schwa sound. Okay, so it's not pa, it's more p. Okay. So I would just practice saying p. Do like p 3 times. P, and make sure you're not saying pa, because it's more p.
I can't publish a story based on hearsay.
Can't publish a story based on hearsay. I think the individual words are okay. I think the rhythm's a little bit.
I can't publish a story based on hearsay.
I can't publish a story based on hearsay. I would see if we could. I don't think there's anything wrong with you're kind of doing like 3 thought groups. I can't publish a story based on hearsay. I think it would sound just a little smoother if you did 2 thought groups. Like I can't publish a story based on hearsay. I can't publish a story based on. So like I would make the first thought group. I can't publish a story. I can't publish a story. And then based on hearsay, those would be the parts I would break it into.
Can't publish a story based on hearsay.
The other thing too is that can we link together just a little bit more?
Can't publish a story based on.
Publish a story based on, or publish a story based on, publish a story based on. I'll just see if you could join that a little bit together more. What you did is not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. People need to pause. People need to breathe. Cool. I would just say, for the sake of experimentation, practicing linking and things like that, see if you can join those together.
Hearsay. Story based on hearsay.
I like your pitch on hearsay. Going those high pitches. I like the range you have going on. I think that's great.
I can't publish a story.
I can't publish. The other thing too, so can't publish. You're kind of the pitches. I can't publish a story.
I can't publish.
I can't publish a story. I can't. One of those needs to go higher. Probably can't. So can't use a higher pitch. Publish goes slightly lower on. I can't publish a story.
Can't publish a story.
Because like can't publish, like you're kind of giving me the same pitch almost, one right after the other. Get higher on can't. Go slightly lower on publish. Okay. I can't publish a story.
I can't publish a story based on hearsay.
Yeah, those are my main comments. I like that. Thank you so much for the song. Always great to hear your voice. I always appreciate it. If you have some other questions for me about anything we mentioned there, be sure to let me know. But thank you. It's ready to hear. Always good to hear some songs and things. Okay. We did our original group. Emmanuel, I need to reload. We got down to Riddick, so Douglas, Zabeta, Tib, and myself. We're going to I need to take a moment just to vet everybody, make sure we're doing things. Before we do that, some quick questions. Emmanuel, I think we had time to get through everybody without rushing things. This comment, so Mash told me the time, 12. That's very interesting because when you sent that, it was like 42. So like, I'm not used to times as being like a half hour different. Like, 12 hours or whatever, 10 hours, cool, but like 10 and a half hours? I'm not as familiar with that. Other things here. Okay. Manish asks, "Want to make my voice lower pitch? What should I do?" Okay. Tib, I have not played yours yet. Yours will be in the second batch. Okay. If you have questions about pitch, I'll be honest, just because we are up against time, my biggest suggestion is I have videos that talk all about pitch and some exercises that you can try. Okay, so I would recommend taking a look at these. Okay, give me a second and I will share. Once again, we are back on the channel. Look at that. Let me just type in pitch. Let's see what we get. Okay, so here are all different pitch exercises. I have a pitch workout video. I have a video just about lowering pitch specifically. I also have a video about, again, more pitch practice and things like that. So I think, honestly, those 3 videos should get you covered in terms of activities that you can do to start working on your pitch, honestly. So I would really recommend trying out those videos there. Okay. So again, just went to the video, went to my channel, went to the search, and typed in pitch. Okay. So we do have lots of different options for that. Okay. Quick reminder again.
Like what you're hearing? Let us know by liking and subscribing.
Oh God, totally spilled water on me. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Checking people's files. Why does it have to be so critical? Oh, man, I was given that attitude on the critical. That's going to be excited to hear. By the way, guys, as I'm checking these, just a quick reminder, if you are finding this helpful, if you're like, oh, wow, I'm actually like learning, I'm learning things here. Who would have thought that? Just a quick reminder, we have a group on Telegram where we look at your pronunciation every single day of the week. Every single day of the week, we do what we're doing here. Okay, so if you want to get pronunciation practice every single day, you totally can. We would love to have you. Some more information about that if you're interested in joining. It's at patreon.com/fluentamerican. It does cost money. It's $5. Get you access for the month. So it's $5 for like 30 days of working with me and one of my favorite instructors. Her name is Lenora. She's great. This just will give you a quick idea what that's like.
Eel, please. I think your O sounds are a little bit tense. I'm getting a lot of O. Take off the T on center.
Okay, so again, that is at patreon.com/fluentamerican. You can see more information about that. Of course, if that is a hardship, we always do our Schwa Mill episodes every week. Okay, specifically on Saturdays at this time. I'm almost finished scouting our next files. Okay, they'll send us some questions and common phrases. That's cool. Then after that, we have this file. I'm excited for you guys to hear that one. It's very true. Everyone's missing our friend. That's good to know. Checking our last couple files. Okay. Tib, I have your file. We're going to take a look at that. I think we have some time. Oh my gosh. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm excited for you guys to hear these files. Last couple ones. Hey, give me a moment. Okay. 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 Oh my gosh, this file is crazy. Tim mentions understanding rhythm is crucial for accents. Practicing on rhythm. Do you see the YouTube video? Gibberish. I have not seen that video. Okay, if you can send it to me, email or message it to me on one of the socials. I can take a look at it. I think the workout videos would be really helpful for that, especially ones related to pitch. I have another one that looks like common sentences as well. So I would take a look at those. I'm so distracted by the things I'm hearing here. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. These symbols are blowing my mind. Okay. And Riddick asked about breath again on my channel. Again, let's last thing, then we're gonna run through this final batch. Okay. Unfortunately, at this time, I think I have enough pronunciation files. So if we did not get to, if you did not submit a pronunciation file, unfortunately, I think we're out of time. But again, we do refresh our documents. Okay. So just a note, we use this document for our live streams every single week. So if we did not get to you today, or we don't have time for you, you did not submit a file, I usually refresh it on Thursday or Friday. So then you can submit a file then, and you'll be among the top. So that way we get to you very early. Okay, just a note on that. Again, we had a comment about breath, like how do you get more breath through? I have a video that goes through 10 different exercises you can try for getting more breath. Again, I just went to the channel, I searched, type in breath. This is the video you're looking for. Captain Accent makes his appearance. So I also have a live stream that talks a little bit about breath as well. Okay, so there's some things I would recommend if you're trying to improve breath. Okay, but unfortunately, I'm trying to get through these files, so I can get too in depth, especially where we have content on that. Let's start off here. Why do you always have to be so critical? I like you're doing critical. I like that a lot. Okay, let's listen to that one more time. Just kind of going in order here. I can find my mouse. I lost my mouse again, guys. You know that does tend to happen. Oh no, I forgot the audio. Are ya? Sorry. Thanks for the reminder. Emmanuel was on it. Like, please hurry, Jeff. Hurry. Don't go too far. Okay, you guys should hear it now.
Why do you always have to be so critical?
Yeah, always have to be so critical. Critical. You know, you can drag critical out like the way you did. There's nothing wrong with that. Critical.
You always have to be so critical.
Critical. Okay. I personally, if I were saying that, instead of dragging it out, I would be more critical. Why does it have to be so critical? Okay. So I would really suggest a crit, go heavy, falling intonation. Critical. Why does it have to be so critical? Especially if you're serious about this. Because if you say like, why do you have to be so critical? That sounds more whiny. Like a kid who's upset, like, why do you be so critical? Whereas, why do you have to be so critical? That sounds a lot more charged. Okay, so like a heavy falling intonation on crit. Other things here.
Why do you always have to be so critical? Why do you always have to be...
Why do you always... So you're going heavy on why? Like, why do you always...
Why do you always have to be so critical?
Why do you always have to be so... You know, I like that. I don't have much to comment on there. Another opportunity, again, if you're trying to add more emotion to this, you know, like a real situation, instead of stressing the why, if you want to sound even more upset, you could stress always. Like, why do you always have to be so critical? Why do you always have to be so critical?
Why do you always have to be so critical?
So instead of stressing why, shifting it onto always.
Why do you always have to be...
I would also say always.
Why do you always have to...
You know, always. It does sound to me like your placement goes a little high on the ways. Like ways versus ways. Okay, so I do think you could probably get your placement a little bit lower. A little bit more breath through on that A sound. My guess is if you feel like you can say way, okay, way, then try adding a Z sound after it. Can you do like way, ways, way, ways, and make sure that the vowel is staying the same? Okay, because my guess is that the Z sound might be causing you to tense things up. Okay.
You always have to be so critical. Critical. Always have to be so.
Again, also on have to be, you could reduce that more. Instead of have to be, you could have to be. Why do you always have to be so? Have to be so? Have to be so? Just another option if you're looking for some reductions in linking. Okay. Okay, so just a note on that. Hopefully that makes sense. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for sending that. Lots of good stuff there. Okay. Thanks for the file. If you have any questions, let me know.
Hi, my friend. Good afternoon. What are you going to do tonight?
Okay, lots of different little phrases here. We'll kind of break each one of them down a little bit.
Hi, my friend.
Hi, my friend. Hi, my friend. And also, oh, snap, guys, we have a guest. I'm about to bring them on. Let's see who's here. Hi. I want to unmute you. Hi.
Okay. Hi. Just what's up and say hi.
That's so nice of you. Great.
Thank you so much.
This is Mimo.
Mimo.
How do I pronounce your name, actually? I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it right.
This is my nickname. This is not my.
Got you.
My real name is Mohammed.
Got you. But you go by Mimo.
Mimo. Yeah.
Mimo. Okay. So it's like me. Cool. Got you.
Yeah.
Mimo, while I have you here, do you have any pronunciation questions, or what are some sounds you find to be difficult?
Well, I just done my question. Law, or because I was confused. I've watched a video. Another accent maybe. He was. Yeah. So he was law.
So like law, what I would say for law, I'm sorry if people are saying the sound's a little bit echoey. Mimo, I'm going to let you go just for the audio reasons, but let me talk a little bit about law. Okay. But thank you so much for stopping by. We'll see you. We'll see you soon, man. Take care, man. Bye. Thank you. So talking a little bit about law and how to say law, what I would say is that some people will say la. Some people will pronounce it with an sound. Okay. But personally, I would not, because again, just where I'm from the East Coast. We were pronouncing sounds. So instead of saying la, I would pronounce that as law, And the way I'm doing that is the back of my tongue is high and my mouth is wide. So again, la. Okay, so like la. Okay. So we see this in other words too, for instance, like saw or like claws or bought. Okay. So I would try to do a cycle like that, like la, saw, bought, and kind of just keep cycling like that. La, saw, bought, la, saw, bought, la, saw, bought, and kind of keep going through that. Okay. For that sound. Mimo, give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. Does that sound okay? Cool. I appreciate it. Yeah. By the way, guys, Mimo is one of the people in our he's in our Telegram group. Learn lots of things. It would be great for you to join us there. Just saying. I'm gonna take us back to our original file. Let me shrink myself back over here. Okay. So our file here. And Mimo, thanks again for joining us. That was really cool.
Hi, my friend.
Hi, my friend. Hi, my friend versus most likely your stress would actually be on hi. Okay, just note. Hi, my friend. Like, hi, my friend.
Hi, my friend.
Hi, my friend versus hi, my friend. Hi, my friend. Okay. I'll be honest, it's not very common at least in North America, to hear people call each other like friend, like, hey, friend. Like, it's not or like my friend, like it's not super common. I know in some other countries and cultures that can be a more common sort of thing, or like using like words like dear or like things like that, but just in the US, not very common. Okay. Um, just a note. Okay. Riddick asking again about breath. Like I said, Riddick, take a look back in the stream because I did mention the video. If you go to the video, if you go to my YouTube channel, and you type in breath in the search box, there is a video I have that talks all about techniques for adding more breath. Okay. It goes through 10 different techniques you can do. Okay. To start giving you some ideas. Unfortunately, just because I'm running up against time, I won't quite have enough time to get through that. But just to give you an idea.
Hi, my friend.
Also note here on friend, it's like friend, and I do think your N is impacting your vowel.
Hi, my friend.
Friend versus friend. So make sure you're doing, say the word end, and make sure that your sound is not shifting. So like and. Those should sound the same. Okay, there shouldn't be any shifting there.
Good afternoon.
Same thing here with noon. I think the big thing for you is going to be taking a look at N sounds linking with vowels, because I think your N sounds are impacting your vowels and causing some shifting. It's like oon versus oon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, so it's not noon, more noon.
Good afternoon.
Noon. Noon. The other thing too, of course, is going to be placement, because your placement sounds a little tense and high. Like ooh versus oh. Oh. Noon.
What are you going to do now?
Okay, so we have this, what are you going, so we have this linking, and we know that it's reduced, and we know that it's linked, but I think that we're getting a little bit caught up in trying to say it super fast.
What are you going to do now?
What are you going to do? Like, what are you going to
do now? Good afternoon. What are you going to do now?
What are you going to do? So you're saying like all the words and almost completely fully, and that's causing the issue. Because in reality, you want these to be reduced. So I said, what you gonna do tonight? Hey, what you gonna do tonight? That's a common way of reducing instead of saying, what are you going to? What you gonna? That's a very common reduction for that phrase. If you want to keep the what are you, so say, what are you? What are you? What are you? What are you? So again, what you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Those are more common reductions and linking for that phrase than saying, what are you going to? Okay, so just a note in terms of the reductions and the linking there.
What are you going to do now?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I do want to make sure we have time for everyone's audio. So I'm going to end this here, but I think that gives you lots of things to work on. Vowels, linking the N sounds, placement, and also some reduced phrases. Thank you for sending that file. I do appreciate it. Cannot do this without you guys.
Hi, my friend. Good afternoon.
I get that twice.
It's been a while I haven't heard the singer's voice.
It's been a while I haven't heard the singer's voice. So, man, this is just a minor grammatical thing. Like, I would personally have said, like, thank you, Mimo. Mimo's the best. I would say it's been a while since I heard the singer's voice. That's how I personally would have said that phrase, if you're still here, Zabina.
It's been a while I have.
It's been a while. So you're also stressing while, but I think your more common stress will be on been. It's been a while. It's been a while. That's, again, another phrase I would put into Youglish just to hear other people saying it. In my guess, just a guess, I could be wrong, but my guess is you're usually going to hear the stress on been. It's been a while.
I haven't heard the singer's voice. It's been a while I haven't heard the singer's voice.
It's been a while since I heard the singer's voice. I must have heard the singer's voice.
I haven't heard the singer's voice. A while I haven't heard the singer's voice.
I haven't heard this singer. Haven't heard the singer's voice. I haven't heard the singer's voice. In this specific sentence that you're saying, not the version I gave, but in this specific one that you're using, I think that you probably actually want to stress voice. It says singer's voice. Singer's voice. Since I heard the singer, I haven't heard the singer's voice.
Singer's voice.
Because if you say I haven't heard the singer's voice. That's not quite the pattern. I haven't heard the singer's voice. Okay? So make sure that the singer's voice Make sure the stress is falling on voice. Raise the pitch there. Okay. Yeah, Mimo, I'm sorry about. I think I know what the issue is. I think it's because I was sharing the audio and it was like bouncing back and forth like in a bunch of different places. I think that was part of the problem. Although it could have been a mic thing on your end. I'm not sure. But thank you for joining us. Hope we could sort that out. Great to have you again sometime. Let me know what you're doing next Saturday.
A while I haven't heard the singer's voice.
Yeah, so I think the big thing again for this is going to be against stress. It's been, stress been, and then singer's voice, stress voice. That's going to be the biggest impact on this sentence in terms of getting natural sound.
It's been a while I haven't heard the singer's voice. It's been a while I haven't heard the singer's voice.
I haven't. You could also, in theory, reduce your pronoun a little bit. Your I is a little strong. Like I haven't versus I haven't. Notice the linking you could also do there. I haven't. So instead I haven't, it's more I haven't. You don't have to do that. It's just an option. Okay, I haven't heard the singer's voice.
While I haven't heard the singer's voice.
Okay. For the sake of time, I do need to move on, but hopefully as a way, this gives you some things to focus on. We talked about the grammar thing. We talked about stress. Lots of different things to consider. Okay. Thanks for sending that file. Do appreciate it. Okay. Manual makes a quick note. People might be confused. What are you? Your reduction was saying, what are you really fast? You know, context is always going to be super important in terms of the situations and determining. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up.
Go back to the drawing board.
Go back to the drawing board. Tib, here we go. So excited to hear our first file from Tib. First of many files, I hope. Tib, if you're still with us, give me a hey.
Go back to the drawing board.
Go back to the drawing board. Very flat. Okay, the first thing I want to tell you is that this is everything's kind of at the same pitch. Okay, so that's going to be the immediate thing. I do hear stress. So now we're going to remove all stress. But
go back to the drawing board.
Drawing board. Drawing board is a compound noun. If you don't know what a compound noun is when you have two words that join together to make one specific thing. And Tib is here. Cool. So Tib, it's you and me. Let's have a little conversation here. Okay. So drawing board. Drawing board has two words, but it's one specific thing. A drawing board is a specific thing. When this happens, we want to make sure that we stress the first word. So we want to put the stress on drawing. So see if you can hear a difference. Drawing board and drawing board. Drawing board. Drawing board. We want the first one. We want drawing board. Drawing board. Okay, so have the higher pitch on drawing, have the lower pitch on board. Drawing board. So notice, like, in terms of like pitches, you're going to go up, down, down. Drawing board. Drawing board. Okay, in terms of your pitches. Okay. It's like drawing board. Drawing board.
Go back to the drawing board.
Okay, so the first thing there is that we're stressing not quite the right word. So you want to stress drawing, not board. The other thing too is that for your stress, I want your pitch to go even higher because right now you're kind of like go back to the drawing versus go back to the drawing board. Just notice the pitch there. But we can also move around our pitches in the beginning too.
Go back to the drawing.
Go back to the. Go back.
Go back to the.
Go back. You're slightly higher pitch on back, but you actually want to do the opposite. So like I would do drop, drop, drop. Go back to the. Go back to the. Sorry if I bumped you. Go back to the drawing board. Go back to the drawing board. Go back to the drawing board. So you want that first part because nothing is stressed there. You want it to all those to be kind of reduced and the pitch to drop. Just to add some contrast because right now everything's kind of almost at the same pitch level and you want to increase your range. You want your highs to go higher. You want your lows to go a little lower. Okay. Go back to the drawing board. Go back to the drawing board. Okay. Those are definitely going to be my biggest suggestions for that audio file. If anything there is not clear, be sure to let me know. But thank you for sending that, Tiv. I hope to hear more from you in the future. Great to see you. I'm glad you found us. Let us know how you did find us. How did you find us? Did you just see the live going on YouTube? Curious. Up next,
Okay, Daniel, when you pronounce this word, make sure your tongue is touching the roof of your mouth and make sure there's no hot girls around. And if there happens to be a bunch of hot chicks, then pretend they're not there. Because, dude, you don't want to sound awkward, right? There's something to keep in mind, okay? All right.
Oh my god. That was the first one. That was me, apparently.
Hey everyone, it's Jeff, and today I'll be performing a song that...
This actually got... I could almost see this as my voice.
Hey everyone, it's Jeff, and today I'll be performing a song that I actually just finished writing called Okay, Alright. Okay, alright. Okay, alright. Okay, alright. Okay, alright. Okay. All right. Okay.
Still 8 seconds left.
Oh, right.
Oh man, someone clip that and send it to me. Oh my gosh. Don't send me to super chat. Send them to him. Oh my god. And this one.
Guys, I know I say this all the time, but, you know, there's literally millions of other Englishes out there. But the fact that you chose to watch me instead really means a lot to me, and I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but okay, all right. Okay, all right.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Well, guys, you have done it. You have spent another Saturday or Sunday morning with me here in the Schwab Mill. This is, again, our weekly show where we take a look at your pronunciation files and try to give the best suggestions that we can to help you achieve a more natural sound. Our motto is craft your accent. We will be back next week with another edition of the Sawmill. Like I said, look at me doing that. The Schwab Mill. It's on the shirt, guys. It's on the shirt. Oh my gosh, it's on the shirt. We got merch. But like I said, we refresh the document every single week, usually again on Thursday or Friday. So if you want to submit your own pronunciation files, that is definitely the time to do it. Okay. It was great that we were visited again by the Singer. So Singer, thank you for gracing us with your presence. We always appreciate it. We'll be back again next week. And keep an eye out because this week, again, we have a series of videos I hope to have out starting tomorrow. Where for the next 7 days starting tomorrow, we will have our placement challenge, our 7-day placement challenge. Every day a new video will come out with some quick placement exercises. The videos themselves will each be between about 2 to 5 minutes long. The goal is to, watch one per day and just follow along with me in the exercises. Even better would be recording yourself and comparing how you sound to me. That will help you progress even faster. I'm not going to say that it's going to guarantee that you'll end up with a placement that's automatically lower and open all the time, but I think it will help you generate much more awareness of how placement works. You'll also hear it in a variety of different contexts and things like that. Okay, so definitely keep an eye out for that because I think placement's such a helpful sound for this. Okay. But yeah, again, my name is Jeff. As the Singer stated, I know you guys have millions of different ways to study American English, so the fact you spent a little bit of time with me is greatly appreciated. If you know other people that would benefit from this as well, be sure to pass along the good word. Tib, it was great to meet you. Thanks for being active in the stream. If you're a lurker like Tib, but actually being interactive, we would love to hear from you too. We'd love to hear your files and things like that. Okay. Thank you. Yes, we have our schwa symbol because it's the schwa mill. So we have to have the saw, we have to have the schwa. It's all together. Yeah. And Douglas trying to defend himself. Whatever happened to Emmanuel's file, we will find out next time. But guys, thank you so much. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good afternoon. And I will see you next time. You guys all take care.